What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Unfiltered Waters. Today, we've got another incredible episode coming out of the Lucas Oil Stadium at Olympic Trials. We've got five-time Olympic gold medalist Nathan Adrian. Nathan is a former American record holder in the 50 freestyle and truly just a sprinting legend across multiple Olympic games. Nathan talks to us about his experience so far at the trials, being there, working with the foundation. We hear about his experience and what it was like to make his first Olympic team in Beijing in 2008. We hear about his incredible memory, winning gold in London in the 100 freestyle by 1/100th of a second. And we get to hear about Nathan's development from 2008 to 2012. He does this really crazy technique change with his breath that if you were to watch him swim, you wouldn't even be able to see him take that breath. It's pretty crazy. And he's so good at analyzing strokes, trying new things. And it's really, really cool to hear directly from him how he took that step to go from making his first team to winning his first individual gold medal. We talk about his crazy diagnosis with testicular cancer and how he battled through that from a physical and mental perspective. And then we get to hear his experience as a dad, how that's changed his perspective, what he's up to now, and what he's really excited about in swimming as we are rolling through these Olympics in Paris. So it is a fantastic conversation. If anyone knows Nathan, you know that he is the most gentle, kind human being. And Missy and I had a wonderful time chatting with him. So we hope you enjoy. Without further ado, Nathan Adrian. Here at Unfiltered Waters, we have a big summer coming up, and that means lots of time in a hotel room, on an airplane, and lots of opportunities to mess up our sleep. Missy and I have to be on and ready for the action, and we can't be worrying about being sleep deprived. I am obsessed with this Dream Tape. I have been using it for 6 months, and let me tell you, I fall asleep faster. I wake up more rested. It's breathable. It's super soft and super easy to take off, and I am so grateful to Dream Recovery for providing us with the ability to be on when we need to and well rested throughout a crazy busy year. We have a special code for you. It's code Unfiltered for 30% off your first order and 50% off your first month of Dream Tape. Sweet dreams.
I am so thankful for Element because I truly think that without them, I would not be hitting my hydration goals. Element makes staying hydrated not only easy, but also so delicious. Element contains 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium, and no sugar. And all of that is based on clinical evidence behind those electrolyte ratios. If you guys haven't tried their sparkling yet, it is going to be the drink of the summer. I promise you, there's nothing more refreshing than taking a can of Element sparkling out of your fridge in these hot summer days and knowing that you're staying hydrated while truly, truly enjoying it. Especially as a mom, I know how important it is during pregnancy, during breastfeeding, during postpartum to stay hydrated. Always check with your doctor to make sure you're doing what's best for you. But I'm so thankful that I have had Element throughout my entire journey as a mom to help keep me hydrated and going and strong like a mother. Nathan Adrian, welcome to Unfiltered Waters at Olympic Trials.
Thanks for having me.
We're so happy you're here, and happy Father's Day.
It is, yeah.
It is Father's Day. So if you were at home right now with your wife and your two daughters, what would you be doing?
Oh, great question. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think we'd probably just do brunch or something. Sounds as silly as it sounds. We'd probably go to the pool.
I don't
know.
That sounds perfect.
I mean, it's just, with the two kids, it's as much as it can be about me, it's still about them.
I know.
So they're so young that we got to tire them out, plan our schedule around their nap schedule, or else we're going to pay for it later.
Yep.
And then, yeah, just have a nice day.
This is all so relatable. I got donuts delivered to the house this morning that we're staying at for Hayes, and then he's
Nice.
sending me pictures. We have a little hot tub in the house,
Oh.
and he and Kate are literally in the hot tub together right now.
That's amazing.
So cute. I'm getting all these
That's funny.
selfies of the two of them just in there
Nice.
having the time of their life, which
Oh,
is so
good.
sweet. How has your experience so far been here at Olympic Trials?
Oh man, it's been incredible. It's been really cool. I think that it's like, when I walked in the morning, we went to that like little workout that we had, and then I was impressed with how they still made it feel like a regular swim meet, because I was a little concerned. I was like, man, if you really like do it up big enough, it might make some of the swimmers nervous, like make it really like too in your face about how big it is. But with the curtain here, the way the pool is set up, I feel like they're going to be able to still just focus on the swimming itself. And then Indy did a really nice job rolling out the red carpet. I mean, the second you get off the plane, you're seeing like signage about trials and how excited they all are. And then to the people that are showing up to the meet. So it's been a really good time.
Yeah, I loved getting to swim with you yesterday.
Yeah.
I haven't swam with him since we trained together at Cal.
Yeah.
She said that was her first time swimming long course since she competed.
Yeah.
It was my first time swimming long course in a long time.
Yeah.
Not since I competed, but like months and months and months, and it was long.
Yeah. It was good though. Tim Hinchy, who's the CEO and president of USA Swimming, he was our coach. And I liked his workout a lot.
It was solid. It was solid.
It's like 2,500, just kind of perfect.
And was there like things you had to go fast on and stuff?
Oh yeah, he gave us best average 50s.
Okay,
There's you got to take it with a master's filter lens.
Okay.
Master's
We could
filter
use any
lens. I think,
equipment we wanted.
Michael Ledecky, he went hard and fast on the first of three
it's one
best
of
average
those.
50s. He knew what he was doing. He's a smart guy.
Yeah.
And then he kind of fell back a little bit. But it was a good time. It was a good time.
I love that we're still making note of that. Like, he went out too hard.
No, he knew. I was like, dang, dude, am I really going to have someone going 30s next to me this whole time?
Yeah, that's pretty legit.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. I was like, it was like 4 a.m., like,
Cali
West
time.
Coast time. I'm just trying to get a swim in right now.
So did you have I felt that a very small amount, but when you walked in, when you watched finals last night, did you have any itch, any pull?
Oh my gosh, did you guys, let me ask you this, did you get the smell of the blue stuff?
Yes, immediately.
Yes.
The flooring just
Unmistakable.
hits you.
Like I was like walking in the hallway and I was like, there it is. That's like blue stuff mixed with a little chlorine. Like, we are at trials right now. You could have me blindfolded like anywhere and I'd be like, that's the trial smell.
Olympic trials.
What is the blue stuff?
I don't know, but
it does. Yeah, it does. Instantly, I'm like, we're at a big beach.
Yeah.
Like, it just
Yeah.
puts you in
It
that
puts you there.
position. Yeah.
Totally. But yeah, I mean, I loved every second of competing. I totally I would throw on a suit and try now. I wouldn't do it. I would get dead last, but it'd be still fun.
I don't think he would get dead last,
I mean, Grievous is out here sprinting.
I know, and you know what? I regret. He texted me and he was like, dude, I'm doing this. And I'm like, I don't know. I'll try to find a meet if I can. I never did.
Oh, there's still time.
There's always
still a couple
there's
number
always
days.
LA
until 50.
2028.
Yeah, I know. Well, I want to talk about your AC Swim Club and how that came to be, and if you guys have aspirations of one day having your own athletes here.
Oh,
Which
yeah,
would be
sure.
such a full circle moment.
It would be a very full circle moment. Yeah, the story of the AC Swim Club is, I mean, it's pretty unique. So it's actually kind of crazy. So AC obviously stands for Adrian Copeland. So that's my last name. That's Will's last name. Training partner. He got 7th at the 2016 Olympic trials. So he was one spot away from making the team.
Yeah.
But it also stands for Ann Curtis, who is actually a 1948 Olympian in London, and she and her family actually built the property after she got back from the London Olympics. After 10 years after the Olympics, she built the property. She had this vision of starting a swim school, of running swim lessons, and this is back in the 1950s. So it was like kind of like one of the first like dedicated learn to swim facilities, not just a like municipality where they give lessons. She earned 2 golds and a silver at the London Olympics in 1948. I earned 2 golds and a silver at the London 2012 games.
Oh my God.
So there's just kind of like this weird like serendipity to it all. And so we run swim lessons out of the AC Swim Club now. Right now it's summertime, so it's still it's very busy. We're doing summertime sessions of lessons. So kiddos are coming in for 2 weeks. They're getting 8 lessons over those 2 weeks. We're doing our best to try to improve their swim skills during that time. So that's kind of our bread and butter. That's what we do. But during this whole time, in this transition to no longer being a professional swimmer, there was a swim team up the road in a town called Petaluma that called us up and said, hey, our coach is retiring. Would you be interested in taking over the operations? And we were like, oh, Like, like at one point, yes, but like you really just don't.
Right now?
Like, yeah, exactly. You don't gain access to 50-meter water every day. So we have access to 50-meter water, which is great. And actually, just recently, so we brought our head coach in, John Hyatt. It's a guy I swam with growing up, swam against. He went to Auburn. So he swam under Richard Quick. He transferred to Michigan and swam under Mike Bottom for a while too. So he has a lot of great experience, great coach. And we actually just recently were on the ASCA Top 100 age group teams.
Congrats! That's amazing, Nate. Congrats!
Yeah. So we're really excited about that. We're excited about the prospects of the future. We are still a pretty young team, so hopefully, fingers crossed, maybe we will be out here with little otters on our cap at either the next Olympic trials or the one after that.
Did you know that was something you wanted to do as you made your transition from professional swimming?
Oh, great question. So actually in 2015, one of the things I did with the USA Swimming Foundation was go to visit a swim school. Yeah. And in 2015, I was still very much in the thick of it, but in the back of my mind, I was like, man, this is going to end at some point, right?
Like the inevitable ending.
It's happening.
And then I saw it and I thought it was really neat. And I thought, giving the gift of a life skill along with like sharing a passion for the water is something that, it helps me get up and get to work even on the tough days. Yeah. It's something that I knew I was interested in, but when the opportunity came up to actually like buy a piece of land that had a pool on it, we were like, okay, you have to do it.
Yeah.
You just have to do it.
That's so special. And it's so cool that you're still making such an impact, and the way that it fits into where you are with your life right now is really beautiful.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. I mean, it is as anybody who's like a small business owner knows, like there's so much outside of actually teaching the lessons, but once you can actually engage and watch the kids and watch their progress after 2 weeks, like the first day can be tough.
Yeah.
Like you go to any swimming pool that gives swim lessons, there might be a kid that's not getting in, not excited about it. There might be tears even, but usually after, warming up to the instructor, our water is nice and warm, so they're not like getting that cold shock when they jump in. By the end, they might be splashing around, having a good time. Maybe they're even diving down and getting a ring.
Wow. That's so special. Nathan and I were talking yesterday at practice about the podcast and how similar that experience is of like, he's like, how's it going? Like the conversations are amazing.
Yeah.
And like, it's so fulfilling. But
that's
for
like
Katie and I, it's like everything outside, like figuring out all the tech side, the SD cards, the downloading, the uploading, and it's like that side of it that we're like, okay. But then when we see the progress and we see the engagement, and it's been so incredible. So in a different way, we completely understand and relate to that. So we want to go back all the way to 2008. I think especially for our listeners, we've had a lot of athletes on here that have had incredible longevity in the sport. You have had unbelievable longevity in the sport, and what makes yours incredibly impressive is that it was in the sprint freestyle events. We're talking events that literally come down to 1/100th of a second, and you managed to stay on the top year after year after year for so long, which I just want to call out and recognize because that is so insanely impressive. But I want to go back to 2008 where you made the team. Were you 18 years old?
I was 19.
19
okay.
years
old. I
old.
wasn't sure if we were the same age or not.
Yeah.
We were the same age.
Yeah.
I felt like I was younger than you. Because I feel like you were so mature.
What?
Like you were super young, but you were just like
You're 89, aren't you?
Yeah.
So okay, but I'm like 6. When in 89 are you?
June.
So okay. So you in June?
Yeah.
June what?
3rd.
So you and Schmitty are super close.
Yes, like 4 days. 4 days. Gemini.
I'm December 88, so I'm like 6 months older than you.
Okay. I just remember I have vivid memories of being like, wow, this guy, like you looked really young, but you didn't talk a ton. And I just remember like that made me feel like you were just like so mature.
Wise beyond your years.
Yeah, wise beyond your years, super mature. Like that was just my memory of you.
That's great. I mean, so my memory of you,
I was
Katie,
going to ask.
was, I mean, probably a lot of swimmers in our era's memory of you was at the, Orlando, right? Orlando Nationals when you won, and it was like, was it 2004?
Oh, like before
Yeah.
04 games?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there.
And braces on.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I mean, well, because you were my age, and I was
Yeah,
like, oh my
yeah.
God, she's gonna make the Olympic team. She's my age. I mean, I think I had to swim off for like the C final.
I remember that. I mean, that pool is just such a legendary pool. It's
It
kind
is.
of not nice, but it's
in an endearing way.
That's where I got
The
my
rust.
Olympic trial cuts.
Oh, amazing.
Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah. I love that.
I love you guys were on the team together too. So you were on the prelims relay.
Yes.
Which ended up getting gold in finals.
Yeah.
So we've talked
Yeah.
about this before, how if you're on the prelims relay, you still get the medal
Yeah.
that the finals team receives, but you get it in the team meeting
Yeah.
the next day.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that experience and maybe what you took away from that. Was that kind of
man.
like, okay, this is incredible, I just got a gold medal, but now I really want to come back and, do even more. Did it encourage you? Was it like, how did you view that entire
Good
experience?
question. So when we were watching, I don't know if you remember, Katie, were you in the stands for that one, or were you?
I was literally
swimming?
walking back from my 400 IM.
Okay.
I was talking to Colin about this yesterday. I'm like, I didn't even get to. I was there, but I wasn't there. I was like sprinting to the team area,
no.
and I swear, the TV that they had.
Yeah.
You remember? It was like this big. Yeah. It was like this big. I'm like, can we not splurge for like a flat screen?
I know. Right.
Can we
like return it or
allocate
something at the end of the week.
We can get the $300 back.
So for us in the stands, it was like, remember how we rotated? You had these awesome seats that were on deck, and then you moved up and up and up. We were in the nosebleed
For
section.
night
We
one.
were like
What?
so high up that literally when you looked across the pool, you could like see smog. It was crazy. We
Yeah.
were so high up. And I remember I was actually sitting next to Ben Wildman, who was on the prelims relay with me, and he called it pretty early. Like
Really?
he saw, Dr. Wildman.
And
He's
he's so
now
smart.
teaching at a medical school in North Carolina or something. He called it on that last leg. Maybe before the turn, he saw that that Jason was getting on Elaine's wave, and he was like, "I think it could happen." I was like, "I don't know, man." I'm pretty stoked. I think we're gonna get a silver medal right now. And then, as everybody knows, Jason obviously ran Elaine Bernard down. And then, Missy, to answer your question, was it at the next morning? I don't know when the team meeting was, but it was not well attended. I remember there was not very many people there. I remember I got an Olympic gold medal in a vacuum sealed bag. We didn't even take it out. And I remember thinking to myself, maybe I should just leave it. This could be a collector's item someday. I'm gonna leave it in this vacuum sealed bag. It'll be pristine for 50 years. I did end up taking it out. But it was definitely amazing, but watching Colin, Garrett, Michael, and Jason getting their gold medal is something that I wanted to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it definitely was motivation for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's incredible. I have so many memories of all those team meetings, but I feel like they need to do a better job of making it an event, right? Making everyone needs to attend no matter what. We're giving almost like its own award ceremony.
That would be good. If I'm going to play devil's advocate there with you. Maybe we do it with some level of frequency, every 3 days that everyone has to go or something, right?
Yes, all right, you're right. Yeah, it is a lot.
If we have 2 team meetings every single day, it ends up being a lot of team meetings.
It's a lot of family time.
It's fair. It's fair. Well, then I want to talk about something that I was fascinated about talking to Russell Mark after 2008. And he showed me a video of you learning to basically take a breath, but not take a breath. I don't know if you remember this, but I was like, that's so genius. How long is this taking him to learn? If you watch the video, anyone, it looks like you don't take a breath. So
right.
I know you got together with Dave Durden. Maybe I'm super off on this, but
no, you're right.
Can you tell us about that progression, what that conversation looked like, and then how long it took you to master that?
I wish I remembered kind of the genesis of that a little better, and I don't exactly. But so to back up a little further, I swam with Mike Bottom my freshman year and through that 2008 Olympic campaign. And he did a really good job of just being like high level awareness of everything you're doing in your stroke. Like nothing doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
So like take a look at your video, and like I mean, this is back when getting video was hard.
Yeah.
Like we had to get a cart out that had like a PVC pipe and like a TiVo,
I
right?
that.
Like,
Back with our tiny little screen in the showroom.
yeah, it's like we didn't have just phones that we could just plunk underwater and go in slow-mo, right? So he was like, there was like a lot of like attention being paid to this from the coaching staff. So like we as swimmers paid a lot of attention to it. And then with Dave, I think he did a really good job. If Dave is less like that, where we're not going to look at videos so much to change technique, but what he's going to do is he's going to in his like engineering mind, he will have a technique change that he wants you to go through, and then he'll give you a progression of drills to achieve that, and then we'll try to work it into our stroke. So between the two of them, I got really cognizant of my breath and how I could kind of keep that little bubble of air connected to the outside if I was moving my head back a little, like kind of quickly. So
which is like pause, because you said that, so like, yeah, it's just like a bubble of air, and then that's not normal. Like, anyone, that is not normal. Like, I feel like that almost is what surfers do, right? They find like this little bubble of air in this crazy wave, but like you're moving at 21 seconds for a 50-meter freestyle. Like there's a lot of opening. Like, that's one way to think about it, I guess. But for me, I was just like, man, I need to get my head back in line as quickly as I can. Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. As I'm getting my head back in line, I can still inhale. Like this is like, what's going on? Like that's great. So then I started like kind of developing that, using that to my advantage, being a little more intentional about getting my head back in line like quickly. Instead of just letting it follow my rotation back to being in line. And with that movement, I don't know, maybe I have a big nose or something. That it's just like all the, like you can see like underwater, you can see that there's like a little bubble that's like coming right off your nose, like through your mouth. And then if you do it well, it connects to the outside air.
That's so wild.
Fascinating. Like, yeah, I mean, people go back and look at, that's another, we always give our guests homework. Go back and look at your race from London, and it looks like you just don't take one breath the whole 100.
You know what? I actually remember looking at, so as I get a little tired, the breath gets a little longer. But
I like
the first 25 was like, that was the best that's ever been.
Yeah, because you breathe every single stroke, right? Yeah, incredible.
It looks like you're not.
So you remind me, you swam at Race Club. That was Mike. That was Gary
Mike
Hall.
Bottom, Gary Hall Jr.
Okay, yep. I thought it was Gary Hall Sr., but it's
so
not.
Okay, so that's where it gets confusing. So Gary Hall Sr. was living down there, and he was running the existing Race Club. He was giving the camps, he was doing the clinics, he was doing the online content, which again at that time, 2008, was super hard to do.
Yeah.
And then Gary's brother would help get that content.
The doors are now open.
Should we pause?
He said it won't pick up, but
okay. I heard it.
you can. Yeah, I heard it. Even if you hear it, like the mics should be good.
Oh, cool.
Apparently.
Okay, so Gary was down there, and it was and then Gary Hall Jr. was living in Miami. So he was living, I don't know, an hour or two away, and then we all went down there. We had 50-meter water. We had a gym. It was kind of two ingredients that you need for an Olympic campaign, and we got a group down there together and trained. What was so cool about it was that, like, because the Halls lived down there, they had this awesome boat that we could go spearfishing off of. I live with a guy named George Bovell, who grew up in Trinidad, so he grew up spearfishing. He ended up buying a little Boston whaler, and we lived on a little canal. Like, I'm 19 years old.
I know.
Like,
That's
I'm
so
like,
cool.
I just went to Berkeley. I lived in like the Berkeley dorms. I was living in a triple. It was like, it's not luxurious by any means. But now here I am. Like living in the Florida Keys, off of a little canal, and we could just go out. Like on our recovery days, it was just like we were just working hypoxic work, keeping like low-end aerobic stuff. It was like really an incredible experience, especially for a 19-year-old who I didn't know if swimming was going to work out. Like I didn't know if I could ever like truly swim professionally. So for me, it was like this opportunity to just engage into the sport and see what others who were professional swimmers, like what they lived like.
Yeah. And how did you get that opportunity?
So Mike recruited me down to Cal when he was the associate head coach. Nort was the head coach. And then when Nort retired, when Nort retired, Mike decided that he was going to go down to Florida, and he just kind of pulled me to the side. He was like, "Hey Nathan, I recruited you down here. I'm going to take this opportunity down in Florida." But when I was talking to you, I really felt like I was committed to you through at least the Olympic cycle. So I wanted to present an opportunity and have you come down and train with us if you're interested in it.
Yeah. I was telling her yesterday, I'm like, or was it this morning? Like, I think some of your practices was just like Gary Hall Jr. was like, we're just going to go spearfishing, and that's going to be our practice to work on like breath work. Like,
yeah. It was awesome.
I mean, like Gary, do you remember in 2008 when one of his practices was to blow up a floaty?
So that was actually 04.
Stop. Was it 04?
It was 04. Okay. So I was never, unfortunately and sadly for me, I was never on a team with Gary. No, Gary, honestly, I learned so much from Gary. Like, it was like, I was 19, right? So I was like bulletproof in terms of like recovery. Like I could just like sprint, go. Gary was kind of in his 30s, so he wasn't. But every time Gary actually went fast, he went so damn fast. I could never beat him. So, but he would like take his time. He would get in this mental space like throughout, like, doing unorthodox things like that, or like sitting back in like a velvet Speedo on like the lounge chairs or something like that. But when he was locked in, he was so locked in, and none of us could freaking beat him. And I was like, wait, let's do it again. And Mike's like, nope, Gary only did one. And I'm like,
Yeah, I feel like Gary's just a legend like that. And I feel like he would sweep people into this thought of, oh, he's laid back, like, oh, he doesn't care. But yet when he went. That's why he has gold medals.
Yeah, exactly. You can't do what he did without caring, or being able to just like lock in. I mean, obviously caring, just being able to lock in and go into a space that's like very special.
Yeah. Well, then I feel like fast forward a little bit, you played that role at Cal. I mean, you were there, and I remember the college team was just like enamored and was like so excited. Like, I feel like you played such a role model on that team, and you were always the one to like give advice, to stop. Like if anyone came up to you and asked you for help, or like even you going over and saying, hey, like I think we can work on this, I think you could, like, you kind of became that, I feel like, for the next generation. So I want to talk about your experience at Cal a little bit, because I know you're there for so long. You've got such a great relationship with Dave. So tell us a little bit about your experience at Cal, but also how you and Dave did continue to make progress and push forward for as many years as you did.
Yeah. Oh man, I experienced a big change in Dave. I mean, it's funny, actually. I go to Dave and Greg now because Greg Meehan, Stanford head coach, was the assistant coach while I was there during my undergrad time. And they had kids that are now my kids' age, and they were somehow doing what they did and like building this program from. I mean, we were a top 5 team to a first or second place team for the last 13 years. And yeah, I mean, it was so, again, it just like comes back to being so intentional with everything that Dave was doing at the time. And like, even the way he would like walk in or greet you for those morning practices, whether it was a practice we were supposed to be like really serious and performing, it would be like a little more high energy, or maybe if it was like just kind of a low end aerobic Monday morning, try to get some yardage in. Yes, I still did that as a sprinter. It was a little more low key, but it was still like a certain cool energy, like, hey, we're gonna like come on in, we're gonna get some work done, and we'll go home, get ready for tonight, kind of thing. And then, as my relationship with Dave evolved, it became a relationship of trust, right? Because I was 19 when we first started, and we were at this team that was kind of happy being top 5. We thought we were cool, and he had to change that culture to being like, no, that's not cool. Like we want to be number one. Yeah. So he was a little more serious, and like had to have that aspect of like, yeah, hey, great job. We can still do better kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And then I think he understood, like he got to know me, I got to know him, and then it became a relationship of trust where it was like, hey, I want to like do things on the international stage too. Like I'm not here to mess around. I'm not here to waste my time. So then like that's when like these open lines of communication started, and we just started like there was just an understanding like I can get what I need from Dave and his training, and I really, really trusted him. Just actually a quick anecdote. from 2011. Like, we were just figuring me out as an athlete. So he'd worked with me for a couple years. We'd had some success at the NCAA stage. In 2010 we had a great year. I mean, I won the 50 and the 100 at Pan Pacs. But we were still figuring out like my individual like taper, like how I taper, because I was always someone who swam really well in season, and then come taper time I had drops, but not as much of a drop as some other people. Even though I was going like PRs in the weight room like days before, and I could still like go pretty fast in the in the water for some reason. And then in 2011, we just tried something different. He communicated with me. He was like, hey, we're going to try like resting it just a little less and see how that works. And we went to Shanghai, and it was the perfect timing. It was 2011. It was Shanghai. Like, we wanted as much information as we could get before 2012 campaign. And then it didn't work. Like, I had a terrible meet. I think I got, like, after winning Pan Pacs the year before, I got 5th in the 100. I got 4th in the 50 by 100th. If I would have gone 200 faster, I would have tied for silver. So, like, I mean, this is my first professional meet. I was like pretty sad. But like, Dave comes up to me. He's like, hey, listen, like, maybe that doesn't work. Let's go home. Let's go to Stanford, because Stanford was nationals like the week later.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I remember that. Yeah. That was miserable. Literally went from competing at Worlds in Shanghai to flying to nationals at Stanford and competing like days later. Yeah. I remember Kara and I were so jet lagged. Like, oh my gosh, it was brutal.
It was absolutely brutal. Yeah. But I ended up doing the 50, and I went faster. And I don't even know if I swam finals or not, but I went faster. I was jet lagged. I wasn't taking care of my body as well as I should have been. And like, he came up to me and was like, hey, listen, like, sorry about that, but like, you know, we're going to have the information that we need for next year now. Yeah. And I was like, there's so many coaches out there that would have been like, see, you didn't nail your finish, and that's why like you didn't go. Like, no, Dave like took that ownership on himself. So like, I was like,
you're like, I'll run through a wall.
Coach, exactly. Like, I trusted him with absolutely everything. I mean, I still do. And like, it was just a moment of clarity for me that just meant so much.
Well, and that's so powerful to hear, especially coming from you too, that sometimes you try new things and they don't work.
Oh, totally. Totally.
Yeah. Like, I don't think that's talked about enough, because we really only ever highlight when you change something and it works and it's great, and then you talk about it. But it's so good, I think, for people to hear that, like, to continue to improve and to continue being, you know, as incredibly good as you were for so long, you have to change things. You have to try new things, and it's not going to work all the time. But by it not working, you're still learning something from it.
Totally.
You now know that doesn't work.
That doesn't work. You gotta, you scratch that itch. Actually, it's funny too. I did I remember talking. I was at a USA Swimming Foundation clinic with Bruce Gemmel, and he kind of said the same thing. He was like, someone. I mean, man, what an astute question from like a 12-year-old. They're like, "What do you regret anything, or what would be your one regret if you had it?" And he was like, "I wish I would have like experimented more." And like, I was like, man, what a cool perspective from a guy who has coached like such incredible athletes.
We are so excited to be partnering with True Niagen. True Niagen is the best way to increase NAD+. NAD+ is the fuel of your cells. It is the building blocks of life itself, and it is a key player in every single thing that we do. NAD+ stands for nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, and it is a vital coenzyme in every cell of your body. It helps turn food into cellular energy, keeping your cells buzzing with life. Discovered over a century ago, recent research links NAD+ to aging, making it a very hot topic in health and wellness. NAD+ is essential for cellular energy production and supporting the mitochondria, our cells' powerhouses. It converts food into ATP, the energy currency of cells. NAD+ plays a role for gym goers by supporting muscle health and recovery. For me, I have been taking NAD+ for about 6 months now, and I see a huge difference in my energy levels, in my recovery, really every single thing that I'm doing. And let's face it, I'm not getting any younger. So being able to have something that is combating aging is a massive benefit. So we've got a special code for you. It is code Unfiltered Waters for 20% off. So stay vital, stay young, and enjoy.
If you have been following me for a while, you know that I have been obsessed with OXB jewelry forever. And I am so excited that they are an official sponsor of Unfiltered Waters. You guys, OXB jewelry, it is sweat-proof, it is waterproof. If you have an active lifestyle, it is the only jewelry out there that is amazing and will stay with you through all of your workouts, up, down, sweaty, high impact, low impact. Their pieces are so cute. They are meant to mix and match so you can wear a million different pieces and they all look so, so good together. They do not tarnish. You guys, I cannot say enough about them. They are women owned. They're based out of Denver, Colorado, and it is such an incredible company and we are so thankful for their support. So go to shopoxb.com and use code UnfilteredWaters to get 15% off your jewelry order. Yeah.
Well, also from just the understanding that I think as an athlete, I always looked at my coach as like, they're not human, right? Like they don't make mistakes. They know everything.
It's like your parents almost.
It is like your parents. Yeah. And so I think coaches also have that fear of just like, well, if I try something, I'm gonna let my athlete down. Yeah. But if you have that built relationship of trust, like you did, right? Not for a second where you like, oh, Dave, like, what did you do? Like, it was just like, okay, maybe you did for a second, but like.
No, I didn't.
Oh,
I didn't.
Amazing.
I mean, I really didn't. I mean, like, that was, after that moment, it was just like, oh, we have to do what? And even if I didn't like it, I was like, dang it, it's part of the plan.
It's been written out.
I trust in the plan.
I feel like it's interesting to hear now from your perspective, like, 08, kind of how that shaped you. You were a sponge there. Yeah. Then you move in, like, or you're doing race club. You're learning from Gary. You're learning from these greats. Then you have this experiment in 2011. I feel like everything was building to have your moment in 2012. So I'd love to hear just, I know you've talked about it a lot, but just hearing about your race in 100 free in London, winning gold, like it just, I love hearing those stories.
I mean, it was all built to perform in London. And it was interesting, even backing up further, whenever Australia has now since copied what Team USA does and having their trials closer to the Olympics. But back then it was, what was it, in March or something?
March. Yeah.
And I remember walking in the morning after James goes like a 47.1 or 47.0 or something, just like blows my best time out of the water. And I was like, do you see trials last night, Dave? Or this morning, whatever the timing was. And he was like, yeah. I was like, dang, man, that's pretty fast. He's like, yep. All right, get in. You know, and I was like,
that's
all
so
right,
Dave, like, yeah, it was. Go.
Correct.
Warm up.
To get in. It was like, all right, you know, like my head was kind of getting off the path. Like, what do I need to do? I need to figure out how to drop a second from now until trials. He's like, nah, man. Like, you can't. We know, like, you can't do. Like, what are you gonna do? You gonna try harder? You can't.
Which
like,
makes it worse.
Like we're not like you got to try on the things that you're supposed to try on. You're supposed to go like certain heart rates for certain sets. You know, like. There was a plan, and he brought my head back to that plan in that moment, and I really didn't think about, or I didn't worry about like what James had gone at his trials from then on.
Wow, that's a great point to bring up too, as another thing that a lot of these athletes are dealing with right now, is it's not just like, we're here at Olympic trials making the team. There are multiple Olympic trials that have happened. Canadian had their Olympic trials. Australia is just finishing up theirs. So you are also aware of all the international swimmers that are competing with their trials, the times they're going, and it is really hard to stay in your own lane and try and stay focused on what you're here to do and not be looking ahead to what's coming and what is the future.
It can be. It certainly can be. Yeah. And I guess, oh man. I was always pretty good at it. I think I could kind of like hyper focus in on the moment and just kind of like, if I needed to, just like get in and just play in the water. You would often find me just like doing underwater running in the warm up pool, just to bring myself present to something other than like working on, or other than worrying about something else, right? Because like. Yeah. You gotta be pretty present to do underwater running.
Yeah. I wish that I had been swimming and seeing, like, what is Nathan doing?
All the time. I mean, it's just like you gotta kind of have your hands back here. You gotta like make sure that you're not jumping up too high. You gotta take a big breath, but not too big, because if your breath's too big, you're gonna float. How are you supposed to run
How are
underwater?
you supposed to think about all the fast swimming around when you're focused on underwater running?
Yes, exactly. And you know, actually. I had that I did have a moment in 2015. Not to shoot forward too much, but in 2015 I had surgery on my right shoulder because I like my clavicle and I don't remember what the other bone is in there, but it got arthritic in there. So I had to have a surgery, but I had already qualified for World Championships. And I mean, my mind when I got to World Championships was going all sorts of places, and that was another a huge moment for me when I learned just like how to become present, because I was worrying about so many things. I was worried about what was going on at home. I was worried about like, I don't remember if I was like moving after that, like worrying about like on the blocks of like a race. So then after that, I was like, whoa, dude, you got to figure something out. Like, get out of there. So, like, I just, like, started, like, describing little shapes and things. Like you know, like, looking at this, like, little thing over here, I'd be like, it's black, it's made of plastic, it's, like, sort of reflective. Like, if I found my mind was, like, starting to wander, just describing shapes or like, sensory things or whatever. And that brought me back. And actually, I ended up going my fastest 50 free ever, setting the American record at the end of that meet.
So what you're saying is people just need to just look at things, describe them.
No, it's a huge, I feel like that's a massive takeaway. Everyone just
huge.
needs to find their underwater running.
Yeah.
100, or their shape description.
Yes, yeah, like just
Exercise.
find something that works for you to keep you present.
Yes.
And keep you in your own lane.
We need to start. I'm going to be like, okay, so the chair is black.
Yeah.
I mean, I know, maybe like you do like
a little squishy. We got some material on it.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm literally sitting here like, oh, great, let me take
this.
So good.
Well, it's actually perfect talking about that because you went on to 2016. You won 4 more medals there, so incredibly successful. And then 2018 comes around, and the unexpected of unexpected, you get diagnosed with testicular cancer.
Yep.
You have talked so much about this. You are now a huge advocate for both men's health and early detection and early screenings, which is so important. If you would just walk us through what that must have been like for you, professional athlete at the height of your sport, and you get this health diagnosis.
Yeah, man, that was such a crazy time. So I had actually just gotten married the summer of 2018. We had just like closed on our first house. We were like starting to like plan family stuff. And then like 3 months later, I felt that my left testicle was swollen and hard, and I was like, that's not normal. Like, it wasn't like that. So then I waited a week because it had actually kind of hurt a little bit. And that's not always typical, by the way. So that for me, it was just kind of a stroke of luck that I kind of like brushed up against myself. It caused a little more pain than normal, so then I noticed it.
Like, need to check this.
Yeah, exactly. And then the pain went away, but the swelling and hardness never did. So after a week, I went into the doctor, and then like these motions get set into place that are really fast. Like, and I mean, I have a good relationship with my primary care doc. It's like pretty friendly. Usually, it's, hey, I have a sore throat. I probably have strep. Can I come in, kind of thing. And he's like, hey, Nathan, what's up? How's training going? So we're friendly. And this one was just different. You can just pick up on vibes from friends when like things aren't necessarily going right. And this one was just like, uh-oh, like this is like.
Might be bigger than we
this
think.
might be bigger than I think. So then it was more like, we got to let's get some imaging done today if we can. It's like 11 o'clock. Let's see if we can get you in. I know the imaging place closes at 4, but let's try to get you in. Let's get an appointment with the urologist the day after that or something like that. Was just setting things in motion really, really quickly. So I kind of knew that something was wrong. So and during like the imaging, I don't know if this is me like picking up on things, but like the radiologists, they're not allowed to read or tell you what's going on, but like they kind of know.
Yeah.
They've done it for years. They know what like a vascularized mass is versus like what just like a cyst might look like. So you just kind of see it and you're like, oh.
You're like watching their eyes, their facial expression.
Yeah. You're not supposed to, really.
Yeah.
You should just put the blinders on. But yeah, and it was, and then you get the call from your doctor after they speak to the person that reads the scan, and they're just like vascularized mass, and that just means cancer in the world of testicular cancer. So yeah, I mean it was was hard because I was getting back on track. I didn't have a great 2018 meet. Maybe it was because I had cancer. Maybe it was just because I didn't have a great meet. And like I was starting to swim fast again. I was starting to get up to like some pretty fast practice times, and I was like feeling good about it. And then this happens. I'm like, oh my God, really? And
what's your first thought when that news gets delivered to you?
in some ways, I've always been really cognizant about trying to engage in what I was engaging in and appreciating it. And that's actually one of the things I'm most proud of for my entire career.
Yeah.
Like, and especially honestly, like now more than ever, I have those feelings of just being like, feeling so fortunate to be able to like do what we all did for so long. But in that moment, it's pretty crazy because your entire world is like, we're ramping up for the Olympics, getting really serious about it, like starting to think about my life after swimming, but still like day to day, it's swimming fast, and then nothing matters.
Yeah.
Like nothing else matters. The only thing that does is just figuring out how to get healthy. And I mean, that is a moment that in many ways, I wish I didn't have to experience it, but in many ways I'm grateful for that too. Because now when I find myself getting stressed out, I'm like, you got your health, man. Like, cause some people don't. And that is a moment when like some things can seem just like your entire world, but it can shift so quickly. And during that time, then all you can do is advocate for yourself and your own health. And the American healthcare system, like every healthcare system has its flaws, but you had to quickly learn how to navigate ours. And it was being your own advocate, because like if you just kind of let it go by the wayside, like something's gonna, they're going to push your appointments out, or you're maybe going to go see a different doctor at a different hospital who might not have, the top end machinery or equipment that they need to do. So, I mean, it was like I was probably the scheduler's worst nightmare for this surgeon that was at UCSF. He had this Da Vinci robot. So my options at that point were actually doing adjuvant chemo, which really basically they looked at me and they were like, if you do adjuvant chemo, it means preventative chemotherapy, your Olympic campaign for 2020 is over. You might get back to 2024 or something, but it's not like it'll take it out of you. So I kind of nixed that one quickly. Active surveillance, but based off of my pathology, like it looked like it might have spread. So my likelihood of it coming back super quick was pretty strong. There was RPLND, which stands for retroperitoneal something dissection. And they basically they cut you open. They cut you from the bottom of your sternum to below your belly button.
Oh my God.
And then it's pretty gross, but I think they said they just kind of take your guts and move them all to the side, and then they take out some of your lymph nodes, and then they let it squish back, and they're like, well, everything just kind of goes back into its place. And then you have to be you have to be in the hospital for 7 full days, and then you have a months and months and months of recovery.
Oh my gosh.
Or with the Da Vinci robot, a lot of people have seen that video of a robot cutting the skin off of a grape and then sewing the skin back on the grape.
Yes.
That's the Da Vinci robot. So the Da Vinci robot made 4 incisions that were about this big, here, 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 and here. And they blew me up, not blew me up. they I think it was CO2 or something, and they kind of blew me up like a balloon a little bit, so they could move around and see stuff in there. They cut out what they one of the arms was cutting the stuff. One of them was I don't know what else the other arms were doing. One of them had a little baggie that they put they were putting the lymph nodes in. They took it out, and then I was walking. Well, I tried to walk that night. I ended up I took three steps.
Who let you get up?
The doctors, I asked them. I mean, they were like, no, normally we don't do this, but since you're an athlete, you can give it a try. Try to go for a walk. And the nurses had to rush to get me a chair, and it was probably a little too early, but I wanted to get out of there. And then, the next day, I just spent one night in the hospital, and I was home.
Wow.
So it was, that was a life-changing thing for me. But again, you have to be your own advocate. You have
Yeah.
to call and call and call, get on that surgeon's schedule, because otherwise it probably would have been one of the other options. And so that was the second surgery I had to recover from in like 6 weeks. But swimming kind of brought me back in a way.
Yeah.
In like through that time, like I could get in with my like physical therapist, Christy. Shout out to Christy. She helped you with your stuff too.
Yeah, so much.
And like even though it whether it helped me like physiologically or not, it was just like that mental aspect of like, hey, I'm working towards something again.
Yeah.
Like I'm not just like sitting at home twiddling my thumbs waiting for like my incisions to heal, or just like till my body like starts to recover from this whole thing. I really needed some like direction to like move towards,
Forward.
and swimming really just like helped center me through all of it. Because like I would find like in a it wouldn't take long if I was just like sitting at home alone, like in a dark room, like my thoughts and my mind would just like start to spiral to bad places, and I was like, nope, can't do that. Gotta like figure out how to like keep my body moving, keep my mind in a healthy place.
That's such an amazing point, and I think people need to hear it more of the advocate piece. Like I know I went through that with my blood clots, but you're not being annoying. Like you're not being. You should be their worst nightmare, because like the loudest person is going to get the care and going to get in. And I always say to people, ask more questions, be annoying, have them, like, they will respond to that, but like you can't be scared to be loud, because it's ultimately potentially even going to save your life. So thank you for sharing that aspect.
And exactly. And I think that it's like, for me too, I had great doctors, and they like welcome the questions, and I think the best doctors do, right? Because they want you to be an advocate for your own health. They understand how it works. They want you to make the best, most informed decision, and they have a certain, like a surgeon has a surgeon's perspective, oncologist has the oncologist's perspective. You need to go talk to them each individually, so you can kind of take that information, make your decision, and then move forward. And the best thing is like getting all that information. Like if you're one of the people that has to write it down, and then move forward with it, knowing you made the best decision with that information at the time. So then you're done. The decision is over. Because like it's super easy to go back and be like, but like what if I exactly. What if I just did active surveillance instead? What if we did like the adjuvant chemo thing instead? Like you can't do that, because with more information comes obviously better decisions, like when you get that information. But at the time, like you just had to go with it, and you have like that can just eat away at you just constantly, right? You're like it's like, no, you get the information, make that decision, and be done with it.
Don't deal with those what ifs.
Exactly.
You came back less than a year after getting this diagnosis and got 2 golds on relays at Worlds in 2019. That process.
Did I?
That's what I have.
That's what it says. They reported it wrong.
I mean, like your journey in and of itself, even without the golds, would have been incredible and so inspiring. But if you have advice for anyone listening that maybe they're going through what is their diagnosis, like they just got hit with something really hard, they're trying to move forward, they're trying to push and see what's ahead, what would you tell them?
Oh man, that one's easy. So you really have to reset your expectations for yourself. Like really, really, really. I wish I remember the set a little better, but I remember the first swim after I was cleared to get in the water after that second surgery. And I mean, I was having like a hard time going like 110 short course or something. And I mean, this is when like the distance swimmers were, I mean, I was swimming next to the distance swimmers because there was just an open lane there. And that was like their interval. They were like dropping like 55s or like something crazy. And I'm like, ooh, uh-oh, you know, that's not good. But then like in my head, I kind of had to reframe those expectations to be like, okay, this is where I'm at today, you know, and tomorrow if I can do the same thing or be better, then like I'm moving towards where I need to go, and that was the mindset that I needed. That was healthy for me.
Yeah.
So that was huge. So yeah. In 2019 was interesting. Korea, we had like. At one point, I think like jets were scrambled. Like it was like still an active like war zone. I think.
Oh my gosh.
Right? Like one point, like jets were scrambled over our head, and we're like, "What is this place? This is crazy." But I do remember that's another really distinct moment in my career that I remember because it was. I was out of the water and like had less time training than like my shoulder injury that I had in 2015. And I just remember being like, how am I going to react to this? You know, like, this is the first time in a long time. Like, I am not in as good a shape as I want to be. And then we walked out for a finals relay. And I actually remember, like, the feeling of the crowd noise, like, being, like, still being excited by that. And not being, like, not letting that, like, make me too nervous or not letting that get out of my comfort zone. I was like, this is it. Like, this is home, man. This is what I love doing, and this is why I do it. So that was a really awesome moment for me, and just something that I'm so, again, like one of the reasons why I'm just so grateful for the opportunity to compete in so many cool places and to do it for so long.
Yeah. And before we move on, your health now?
Health now is good.
Good.
I need to go do my own checkup with my doctor when I get home, as everyone should. But for me personally, I had to do active surveillance. Every cancer diagnosis is different. There's going to be slower growing ones. There's going to be faster growing ones. Mine was faster growing, which means my active surveillance time was with more frequency, but was for a less overall amount of time. I did have to. Again, being your own advocate, I am claustrophobic when it comes to MRI machines. I like touch both sides of my shoulder.
I can't even imagine you in an MRI machine. Oh my God, it's terrible.
So that's another trick that I had to learn. I asked for the big bore machine that's made for larger individuals, and there are these like little glasses that they make for little kids, and I would ask if I could get the little kids movie glasses. So I would like just watch. No, so I get scared when when the MRI machine's like this far in front of my face. I'm like, oh, what if like an earthquake happens, like whatever. But if I'm watching Toy Story on my little movie glasses, I can like just distract myself and not be as claustrophobic.
It's like when you're at the dentist and it has the movie inside.
I think that's like an update lately. I'm like, wait, that's such a nice feature.
Way better.
Oh my gosh. Well, before we move on to some fun stuff or some short stuff, I have to hear what you're most excited about to watch at Paris.
Oh, in Paris? I mean, I'm still just such a big. 100 free is going to be amazing. Sorry, guys.
Oh, wow. No, we think so too.
I'm just so partial to it. I think Caleb's got something special coming, and then I really think Jack, although he had this incredible year last year, I think he's riding so much momentum and he's ready to have another really great year this year. So I think that'll just start to show itself a little bit in a couple days, and then I think both Jack and Caleb are in places that they can, drop even more time come Paris.
What about the 50?
The 50? I love watching what Cam's doing. I mean, that is inspiring to me. I think that like his ability to kind of go back to the drawing board, because he was a guy. I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he went a 145 in the 200 at one point. So he was a 200, 100 guy that swam the 50. And then now all of a sudden he's just doing the 50, and to be able to like transform your body to go from that to just all fast twitch is super inspiring. I mean, that like, it's like super intentional. He like obviously is a smart guy too. So it's fun to watch.
I love that you bring that up too, because I think especially for our listeners that maybe aren't in the swimming community, to recognize the massive difference even though it may not seem like it, between a 50, a 100, and a 200. It's not just swimming more laps.
No.
Like, it
Oh
compounds.
my gosh.
It's-
Yeah.
you literally just said it's like a different body has to swim
ex-
these different events.
Exactly. He transformed himself in the number of years that it took to do it from an incredible aerobic capacity animal who was obviously still had a lot of fast twitch to just a cheetah.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
It's awesome. That is such a good point.
All right, so we're moving on to, I get so excited saying this, so we're moving on to our on-deck vibe check.
Okay.
And so this is a new series that we've created. Just really, we give you 2 options, and you tell us which one you're vibing with more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, are you ready?
All right.
Are you excited?
A little nervous.
Don't be nervous. Okay, so fly somewhere or drive?
Oh my gosh. Man, this is such a...
Already stumped.
This is the conversation I have with my wife all the time because we go to Southern California and it's that exact it's that exact is driving easier or is flying easier, especially with the
littles.
kids.
Especially with littles.
I'm going with driving. It was a total fail this last time because we didn't wake up early enough. We woke up at 5, which is just early enough to wake up the kids, but not have them go back to sleep. Yeah. So they were just cranky and grumpy the whole time. I'm gonna go with like the 3:30 a.m. Wake up, I'll drive, everyone else sleep, try to get there as quickly as possible.
Oh wow, way to put the fam on your shoulders.
Yeah, 3:30. You said, oh my gosh.
Is it putting the fam on my shoulders,
or is it
just making it easier for everybody? It honestly
Touché.
is easier for me to do that too.
Touche, I completely understand that.
All right, sweet or salty?
Man, salty.
Okay, nice. Power tower or quartz?
Oh, power tower.
Power tower.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
power tower. Yeah, I think there is.
Colin said that too.
I'm
did say
gonna throw out a little tidbit too. In that, I mean, power towers are amazing. Such an incredible tool. If you don't have access to them, or if you're on the road or whatever, the long lost art of the pocket drag suit is still incredible. I actually keep one in my own equipment bag, and it's not just a drag suit. It has actual pockets on it. So you get a good amount of drag in the water from it. You throw on fins and paddles, you get a good resistance workout while you're on the road and you don't have access to, an awesome power tower.
There you go.
Pro tip:
Yeah, pro tip indeed.
go out or stay in.
Oh, Stan.
We knew the answer.
We'll just ask it because other people may not have the answer. We know the answer. Cardio or lifting?
Oh,
Now.
man. Now?
Huh?
Oh, man. I like lifting more, but I need to do the cardio.
What's your
more.
cardio of choice?
So I was shifting around for a little while. If I can do like cycling or something, I can do that. I was running for a little while, but then my knees still just really suck. And then I still love swimming.
Yeah.
I still love swimming. So just doing some easy cardio on swimming is good. Yeah.
Okay, I will go into mine.
Okay.
Goggles leak or suit rip?
Oh, suit rip.
Shout out Ricky. For those that don't know,
Ricky Barron's suit rip 2009 World Championship.
Unless you're a young child, in which
Yeah.
case.
Yeah.
Never
Yeah.
forget.
Never forget.
Did you answer?
Oh, I said suit rip.
Oh, suit rip.
Right,
I totally
right.
missed it. I totally
Started
missed
thinking
it.
about
I
2009.
was. Okay, hot tub or cold plunge?
Man, you guys are asking such hard questions. I mean, hot tub is obviously more pleasant, but honestly, I do on long days, I feel a huge difference at 3 o'clock
Yep.
if I do a cold plunge in the morning.
Yep.
It just gets me through the day. It makes me feel good. I can be a better parent because of it, because we're obviously with the kids at night. So I am going to go with cold plunge.
Okay, love that. Morning practice or afternoon?
Oh, morning.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, we didn't guess that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we thought you were going to say afternoon.
Oh no, I really don't.
That's very, honestly though, that's us judging sprinters. That was very stereotypical.
That was.
Oh, yeah.
We
So I
Come on,
apologize.
guys.
I apologize.
Come on.
Yeah.
I actually really didn't like when we didn't have morning practice at Cal. Our practice would be at 1 p.m. I just didn't know what to do with myself.
Yeah.
Like
It's an
it's just
awkward
it is a
time,
super
too.
awkward time. You got 2 meals, and I don't want to do anything too crazy, especially if it's we're going fast. I'm not gonna like go for a hike or do something like that.
Yeah, morning, you get it in, you get it done.
Morning, getting in, get it done, just recover the rest of the day, be done with it.
Love that. Short course or long course?
Oh. Man, all of these depend. If I had access to long course, I personally can swim like longer doing like long course, like in terms of like minutes. I can be like do more cardio doing long course because it's just like I can kind of space out for longer.
Yeah, I love that too. And last one, spontaneous or planned?
Oh, spontaneous.
Love that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well,
that
we
right
have.
away.
I know, immediate. Our final 3 questions that we ask all of our guests. So our first one is, what is a moment within the sport of swimming that brings you the most amount of joy?
Oh, I mean, currently there is a heavy bias with this answer, but watching Gretchen's 100 fly yesterday was one of them. And it's not like specific to Gretchen or the 100 fly, but it's like moments where like dreams come true.
Yeah.
And I think Gretchen, I don't want to, do this for her because I don't know her personally, besides just saying hello. But I think probably her 2021 trials wasn't what she had hoped and dreamed for, but she persevered through it, and then like look at what's happening now. And then also just like the opportunity for her to like chase her dreams and do it on a world stage is something just so cool to be able to see.
I love that.
I actually feel like there were a lot of teary eyes from a lot of Olympic alumni because we all know that feeling, and we're just like,
Her reaction was just so genuine. You could feel it. You knew
Yes,
what she was
absolutely.
experiencing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So same question, but a moment or memory outside the sport of swimming that's brought you the most amount of joy.
Oh, the kids.
Yeah.
I mean, just like moments where Parker, like you're starting to get glimpses of Parker and Brookie like being friends now. I think the other day Parker was watching TV, and then Brooklyn was tired, so she just climbed on top of Parker's stomach, started sucking her thumb, and was like starting to go to sleep on Parker. I mean, they're like so little, and it was just absolutely adorable. Parker was fine with it. Brookie was obviously cuddling with her little sister, and it was very, very sweet.
That is so precious. Yeah. Oh my gosh, melt me. All want a second? Do I want a second? Yeah, I want a second. All right, last question. If you had to pick one word that encompassed something that you're working on, something that you kind of are focusing your life on, or that you really have as a reminder every day, what would that word be for you and why?
Oh, man, you guys keep making me choose one thing. I think while we're here at trials, it's definitely the encompassing word is gratitude.
Yeah.
Again, it's just for, man, like as you two both know, just like all the sacrifices from like other people that had to be made for us to like be able to just chase our dreams.
Amen.
And like,
Amen.
swimming fast. It's like when you think about it, it's kind of like this silly, crazy thing. But then like, the what our parents did for us, what our coaches did for us, swimming at your universities or whatever it might be. And now like being parents, like it's like something I think about a lot, like how like, and it doesn't need to be swimming, but just like how fortunate we were to be able to have something like that, where like we had like something that gave us purpose, something that gave us direction. We were good at it, and then we were able to chase it. And like how can we figure out how to give that to our own children? I think is something I think about a lot.
Yeah, I love that. Well, Colin. I was thinking about the bracelet.
I love this. We're absolutely bloopering that. Absolutely bloopering.
I'll tell you why that happened in a second. All right, she knows why. All right. Nathan, thank you so much for taking the time. I know you only have a couple days that you're in Indy, so we've loved this conversation, and we're so grateful for you.
Man, thank you for what you guys do. It's been fun watching you. Fun watching you guys take your little passion project and grow it. I know it's going to be big, and excited to see what's to come.
Thank you. It means the world. We love catching up, and we will see you very soon.
See you soon.